When they're done fighting, they're coming for you. The entirety of the fight is to determine how to share the loot. You are the prize fools. They're not fighting over anything other than how to control your commonwealth. Nothing else excites them. Nothing else interests them. The entirety of the fight is about how to undermine your future, how to mortgage your future, how to sell your children and your children's children into slavery.
Hello, my great and wonderful people. We welcome you once again to our today's episode of this program. And today, we get some messages and videos for our team. We're going to be saying one quickly the review to you concerning the things we're going to be saying if they happen right now for inside this country, Nigeria. Just as you rightly see one from the introduction of this very broadcast, when it be said with the receive from Barrister Dele Farotimi, where it be said this man of recent come outside to finally speak concerning the battle between Nyesom Wike, when it be the Minister of FCT, which is the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, and he owned Governor of Rivers State, when it be said in name Nasim FUBARA. Now, ever since, we don't see a lot of people, they come out to talk concerning this very battle when they say they go on between Rivers State Governor FUBARA and Nyesom Wike, the former governor of Rivers State. But now, Barrister Dele Farotimi don't finally come outside to open Nigerians' eyes concerning the real thing when it be say it they go on between the Nyesom Wike and FUBARA. I beg, pay attention to this video. It is very, very important for us to understand the details of this thing, because if you don't understand that, you feel end up to be a total stranger when it be say these two people they fool around. All right, before we bring you that full video of Barrister Dele Farotimi, we get this other message when it be say we they receive from the Rivers State Governor when it be say in name Nasim FUBARA, where it be say it come outside to mock Nyesom Wike, where if for us say he owe 1 year for office as governor of Rivers State, they better pass the 8 years when it be say Nyesom Wike stay as the Rivers State governor. Why it be say this man talk like that? I beg me we do small reading small before we bring you that video. And as we put our hand there for inside this matter, they come make us understand, say, FUBARA, when it be the governor of Rivers State, don't come outside to talk, say, your own administration don't do better for the execution of projects than his own predecessor when it be say name na Nyesom Wike for the 8 years when it be say he stay for office as the governor of Rivers State. And still on top of the matter, they come make us understand say the governor, which is Sim FUBARA, talk this very word for the place when be said that they call Ngo Town for the inauguration of Adoni session of the Ogoni Adoni Opobo Unity Road project for Adoni local government area on Saturday. All right, my great and wonderful people, may we stop this very reading here so that we fit get time to listen to Barrister Dele Farotimi, because of this very battle when it be say you feel the see and say maybe Nasim dey right, which is Sim FUBARA, the present governor of Rivers State, or na Wike na it dey right when it be say Sim not a dey lawyer to the agreement when it be say he make with Nyesom Wike. Yes, you feel dey right for your own opinion for the now. But after you don't listen to this message of Dele Farotimi, I believe say maybe you will get another perception for this very battle. Listen, we'll come back for more.
Sim FUBARA might have been known, and I'm sure it was well known to the people of Rivers State. He was obviously one of Wike's godsons and henchmen, a veritable member of the inner caucus and coven of the Wike mafia in Rivers State. And when Wike was leaving, in spite of his many protestations at not being interested in installing his successor, he of course anointed FUBARA to be his successor. So the Lagos thing was meant to be replicated in Rivers. Well, man proposes. God, of course, decrees and determines what happens eventually. So let's just say that things haven't quite gone quite as the wicked one had expected. So having anointed him, the same machinery of impunity with which the presidential election results of the 25th of February were forced upon Nigerians, the same way Wike operated on the 25th of February, he operated yet again on the 18th of March. The will of the Rivers people thwarted, and similarly FUBARA was foisted on the people of Rivers State. That is the long and short of it. It's not a story that wasn't replicated across the entirety of the country in one form or the other. The will of the people did not prevail. The local warlord or capo, the mafia lord in each locality, did what it had to do to retain power. And Wike did whatever Wike had to do to retain power. There are ample evidence in the public space of what transpired in Rivers, both on the 25th of February and on the 18th of March. So, as it is the way with godfathers and godsons, except of course you have perfected the art like the one that sits inside the asshole rock. As it has always been the case, so it became with Wike and Sim. And they started their battles very early in the time of the new governor, who wasn't quite amenable to being told what to do, who to pay, as his original master had imagined. So, having separated himself from his lord and master, I'm sure you remember how they dragged themselves all the way to Asshole Rock. And the Capon, the Tuti, the Capi inside Asshole Rock made clear that he was throwing his weight behind the wicked one. At least that was what we heard from the elder in Rivers State who came out to tell the world what transpired. Apparently, similarly was just biding his time. So, upon getting confirmation of the Supreme Court on his stolen mandate, and obviously having received assurances from high on, similarly was no longer able to maintain the peace of the graveyard that had been decreed by the Capon. So, the hostilities have resumed in Rivers State. So today, over 20, I believe, whether it's 21 or 27, I can't remember now, of their legislators who cross-carpeted into APC without their own capo following them are today no longer part of the Rivers. You know the story. My job is not to recap. But what I want to do is make you understand the context of your support for Sim or your support for Wike. The one thing that nobody seemed to have understood clear enough is the fact that neither of these gentlemen were in it for the people. The people have merely been the victim of both sides, or as many sides as they care to factionalize themselves into. The one thing that ought to be abundantly clear to the Nigerian is that the politicians have only one side, even when they are in different parties. How much more when they belong in the same crime family? So you have a situation on our hands where the ones who are fighting are actually brothers. So it's not a quarrel found on ideology or policy disagreements. It's a quarrel steeped in how to share the commonwealth, your wealth. So when I see our people taking sides. It reminds me of the spectacle of hyenas squabbling, or lions, a pack of lions squabbling, the pride of lions squabbling and fighting themselves, and then the antelopes and wildebeest believed that it was the proper amphitheater from where to enjoy the entertainment of watching the fight. When they're done fighting, they're coming for you. The entirety of the fight is to determine how to share the loot. You are the prize fools. They're not fighting over anything other than how to control your commonwealth. Nothing else excites them. Nothing else interests them. The entirety of the fight is about how to undermine your future, how to mortgage your future, how to sell your children and your children's children into slavery. They're not quarreling because they have some policy difference. No. It's about control. The control of the common purse, which had never been superintended for your purpose. So when you sit down and you're applauding either Sim or Wike, yeah, I understand that we all want to see like Wike get his comeuppance. Even I do. But you can enjoy his discomfiture without getting into the mode of losing sight of the objective. Both Sim and Wike are your enemies. Simplicity. Their strategic objective is your stupefaction and enslavement. They have the same purpose. They were doing it together. That they have a quarrel today over how to share the loot, don't let that blind you to who they are. Don't let that blind you to who they are. You can't be picking sides with armed robbers who are quarreling over how to divide the spoils of your home. Your interest and their interest do not coincide. The only thing that is certain in the midst of this squabbling is that you've lost. You're the one who have lost. Let me share something with you. I used to be something of an inveterate gambler. I'd bet on practically anything, so you can take it for granted that I played almost all the card games. Nashi, Bangudu, Kashi, name it. Poker, I played it. But the one thing that I learned in my years of idiocy, which is why I'm so vociferously against gambling. One thing I learned, the only person who does not lose in the gambling enterprise is the owner of the casino. Everybody else will lose, but the owner of the casino is not losing. The owner of the casino is not losing. And who are the current owners of Nigeria? Jagaban PLC. Those are the current owners of the Nigerian franchise. They have a lot of sub-franchisees and all of that. But the dominant one today is the Jagaban PLC. How do they win in the river situation? I'll show you. The only reason that Sim would dare to find his coyones against Wike is because he has received assurances that law and order would be maintained. If the police commissioner in Rivers or the IG of police or any one of the powers connected to the monstrosity called the federal government were to be available to Wike, FUBARA will not do what he is doing. If the impunities of Nigeria were not available to him, if they were available to Wike, he wouldn't do what he's doing. We were in this country when something similar to what you're seeing in Rivers was happening in Yena, was happening in Bayelsa during Alamie's years. Go and find out how many people impeached Alamie because there was federal might behind them. So if you're seeing Sim trapezing up and down the place today, no, it's because Wike's usefulness is transcendentary. What is important to Jagaban PLC is who can deliver the Rivers franchise, deliver his public purse, deliver his votes as given, and back it up with the powers of impunity required to enforce the will of impunity. It has calculated that his purposes in the current times are best served by the sitting governor. End of story. So when you're busy clapping for them, just keep in mind that you're also tightening the chains of impunity that allowed February 25th, that allowed March 18th, and that has allowed both the Supreme Court and every layer of our judiciary to act with impunity and to legitimize impunity.
All right, my great and wonderful people. I believe say you don't hear everything from the mouth of Barrister Dele Farotimi. We get any other thing to add to them. They say, if two elephants fights, now the grasses now in the suffer. Then you ask yourself, wetin be the benefits of the Rivers people for the fight between Nyesom Wike and FUBARA? I believe say it dey very clear, like lights and darkness, as Barrister Dele Farotimi they explain to each and every one of us. May we not be ignorant of these politicians. Yes, they always work in our emotions. They always work in our ignorance. Now, wetin they want na it be that very one. As we they try to divide ourselves, they gather some to Wike side. This one they gather some to FUBARA side. Then they self get their meeting points. When they will gather together, they do their feasting for Abuja, you know go dey there. For government houses, you know go dey there. For their inner caucus meeting, indoor meeting, you know go dey there. They get where they meet. All right, my great and wonderful people. Thank you to people like Barrister Dele Farotimi for their deep wisdom and understanding. I pray may God continue to strengthen them and preserve them to the enlighten Nigerians for more details of issues when it be say, yes, these people know what make we know. All right, I would like to draw the line of this very broadcast here. And before we say final goodbye, we'll quickly use this medium to appreciate each and every one of you for your time. When you stay with us up to this very moment, God Almighty will bless you. And equally, the way when you say to help us share this broadcast, your likes, your comments, all of them, we appreciate them. I better not forget to help us share this very one sort of to reach our brothers and sisters all around the world, because we believe I want to say information, not power. And as to do so, God Almighty will bless you. And we'd like to draw the line of this very broadcast here. We'll see you again when we see you. Remember, we love you all. Bye-bye.